here is what I want you to do. I want you to build basically this circuit. I want you to put 5 LEDs, okay? 5 LEDs connected with 5 resistors. And I want you to connect them through from pin number 3 to pin number 7, because these are the pins that we're going to be using. I'm going to go a little bit faster here, but you know, you can always do it on your own time, okay? So just to remind you, there is an LED here that has a longer leg, that is the anode, and the leg that has a shorter leg, the shorter leg is the cathode. So the current always go through the anode and leaves the cathode and go to the ground. When you connect them, make sure that you're doing you're paying attention to this, okay? So the purpose of this circuit is to talk about coding, and I want to just run. So the code that I'm going to show you, it's going to blink each LED in a sequence. So it's going to blink this LED for 100 milliseconds. It's going to turn off for 100 milliseconds. Then it's going to move to the next one, next one, next one, and do the same thing. Turn it on for 100 milliseconds, off for another 100 milliseconds, and then move to the other one. And then it go reverse, and you keep going back and forth, back and forth. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the simulation. So you can see it goes from green, red, orange, blue, red, go back like this, okay? So this is a code, okay? You go back and forth, okay? So the way how Arduino works, basically, see those digital pins that we were talking about? We're sending 5 volts, okay, from these pins. So through here, 5 volts coming from here, and it's going to here. Turn this one for 100 milliseconds, and then off for 100 milliseconds. Then it moves to the other one, and it continues. So from pin number 3, 5 volts, it goes. That's what when I'm going to show you the function or the keyword that turns an LED on, you will see what I'm talking about. Actually, it's either high or low, but actually high means sending 5 volts. Low means sending no voltage. Anything that is lower, closer to 0, should be like 0 volt. Okay, but there is a threshold. But anyway, just think about 5 volts, 0 volt at this time. Okay, so now to put the code here, you will have to go to here and select text. Sorry, we go back to code, and then under text, you see here, you select text. So you click on text, and then whatever you have here, delete that, okay? And then I want you to go to, remember the Steam NOOR Google Classroom link I sent you, or I share with you. So I want you to go there, and I want you to go under class work right here. So I want you to go to class, and under class there is an Arduino code. You see, click on that, and I want you to highlight everything. Don't miss anything from here. Okay, highlight everything and do copy. See that? Like this. And I want you to go back to your code here, and delete whatever you have. Like, let's say I have this, I'll delete it, and then so I'm going to delete this, for example, and do Control V, okay? And then you have your code, okay? And if you can see this, it's maybe let me explain the code maybe in under sketchbook. It's probably better. Let's do that. And don't worry, this is this text editor here looks different than what you have under Tinkercad. This is actually, it's called Arduino IDE, and I'm going to show you how actually you can use it. And it works the same way how your Tinkercad text editor basically the same way, but I'll show you that later on. So the code, if you see, it starts with the /* the first set of block until you get */. Okay, this is basically comment. You can actually delete this. You can put anything you want here. It's not gonna hurt the code. And actually Arduino, when it sees /* */, it will just ignore whatever it's written here. This is actually notes for you, like maybe after a month you don't know what is this code for, so you have an idea. So for example, it says Team NOOR Workshop, Washington Moroccan American Club 3030 event, and then it describes basically what this code does, which is it will basically light multiple LEDs in a sequence, and that's what it's just a description. The actual code really starts from here with this statement. So the first block of code is this single line here. This line, it starts with a keyword colored in blue, as you see. It says int timer equal 100 and then semicolon. So int stands for integer. Timer is basically just a variable that you define. You could have written, for example, time delay if you want, or my time, or sleep the LED. But you want to basically, or gazebo if you want, doesn't matter, as long as you know what it means. But I will recommend you use a name that actually makes sense and describe what you're doing, because again, after a couple of days, after a couple of days, I don't even remember what I'm writing. So I always write descriptive name to remind me what is this actually variable for. Okay, so timer, and then I wrote 100. So this is the variable we're gonna use to delay turning on and off an LED, and 100 is basically 100 millisecond. And then you finish that statement with the semicolon. Okay, very important that you write semicolon. If you forget, the Arduino compiler is gonna throw an error message, and you cannot upload your code to Arduino. So make sure you write the correct syntax. Okay, whatever it comes after // this is basically just like this, / and // sometimes we just write / for means this is note or comment, so you really don't care. Arduino don't care about this, but it's a good practice to always write some comments for something that you're interested in. For example, the timer here, the higher the number, the slower the timing. It reminds you. Okay, this 100, if I put, for example, 1000 instead of, so for example 1000 millisecond instead of 100, means it's gonna stay on longer. Okay, so just a reminder. Then the next set of block is right here. it goes from void setup all the way to this curly brackets. See that? Okay. So let me explain you this. So let's say you're construction, you're building a house. Before you build a house, you set up like, well, how many rooms do I have? The material I'm gonna use, am I gonna use brick or wood or so you set up that that process of basically, and once you set it up only once, okay? How many stairs, how many levels I'm gonna have? The same thing for Arduino. You set up this only once, and this is a key word, void setup, okay? And then followed with a parenthesis. And I'll talk to you later on about this void setup. But just think about void. Every Arduino program, it will have void setup, okay? And also, it will have a void loop. And I will talk about this statement here later on. So, so again, this is where we tell Arduino, hey, I'm using pin number 3 all the way to pin number 8 as my output, okay? So because remember, digital pins, they can be used as input or as output, okay? So right now we want to turn an LED on. So we want to send 5 volts to that pin. So it means we have to use them as an output. If we're trying to receive some signal from sensor, so we will be setting these pins as an input, okay? So just remember, and I will explain you what is this for loop right now. Just understand that the void setup is to set up your pins, okay? And I'm gonna go down. One second. Can always continue with our block here. So we talked about the variable that you have to set up, and we talked about the void setup. As I said, it starts with the open curly brackets, and it ends with the curly open brackets. So this is how means this void setup, anything is included inside here. So just remember, again, / is nothing but a comment. So explaining what's coming. So, and I wrote down here, use for loop to initialize each pin as an output. So by the way, this for loop, this is and I just pay attention with me here and be very patient, because no one gets it the first time. This is the most complicated statement in coding or programming in general. It might take you like few times, think about it many times maybe before you get it. But once you get it, everything else is going to be easy. So don't worry if you don't understand, or try a couple times to understand it. Everyone does. But if you get it the first time, you are genius. Okay. So again, we could have done just show you difference. Okay. So instead of for loop, I could have come here and I could have written this, for example, pin mode. Then I'd say, let's say, I can say pin 3, for example, and then I can say output, okay? And I could also done the same thing, pin mode, and I can write, let's say, pin number 4, output, okay? Remember, these are keywords and they are case sensitive, okay? Make sure that you write it correctly. You don't, pin mode is basically that statement or function that telling Arduino, hey, I'm using pin number 3. Remember those digital pins we were talking about? As an output. And here again, hey, I'm using pin number 4 as an, well, imagine if we have like 40 pins that we have to use. I mean, we don't have 40, but I'm just giving you an example. So really, and sometimes, and remember here, you can make mistakes very easy, like I just did. So remember to finish every statement with semicolon. Otherwise, Arduino, when you try to compile your code, it's not gonna work. Okay, so I could have continued working like this, but what if we have many to set up? So in this case, it's not good, and you can make mistakes, and so we use for loop. And then here, that's what I'm going to show you how this for loop works. Okay, so remember under void setup, this is where we set up our pins. Their mode are the inputs, are the outputs. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to delete that, and again, I want to go back to for loop. Okay, for loop, the syntax is for, and then there is a 3 statements inside, separated by semicolon, as you see. Okay, so you have the first statement right here. It says int. Remember the int, integer. This pin, this is actually a variable that you declare, and then you initialize it with number 3. And the second statement here, this is the condition. You're saying, hey, don't use anything that's less than 9 is fine. So once you reach pin number 9, you exit your loop. And then this is basically the variable that you created. And it's saying, hey, as long as this condition is satisfied, as long as I'm less than 9, increase my pin. So if this time, for example, it was 3, and 3 is less than 9, then next pin that you need to set up is 4. And then you keep doing this, and that's how you set up. Basically, once this is done, you go to pin mode. So this pin, it will be, for example, for 3, it's going to be 3 as an output. Then it's going to increase to, 3 is less than 9. Okay, increase by 1. Then it's going to be this pin is going to be 4. So here it's going to be 4 as an output. Then you're going to, the code is going to write pin 5 output, 6 output, 7 output, 8 output, until you reach 9. Once you reach 9, then you exit this for loop. So this condition is no longer satisfied, and you exit. So you can see, just by writing 2 statements, you can actually avoid 100 lines. So I'm going to give you an analogy on and we continue. Just think about this with this next week. Think about this. Let's say you're going down the stairs. Okay, let's say you have 10 stairs. Okay, 10 stairs to walk. And let's say you have someone blind your eyes. You're blindfolded, okay, and you cannot see. And then someone tell you, hey, there is at the end of the steps, there is a snake, or if you go beyond, or an ocean, or you're gonna fall. So, but you have to keep going up and down for, maybe you have a task, you go from steps up, from step number 1 until you reach the top, and you have to come back. So what you need to know to not fall or get bitten by the snake or fall in the ocean, and think about the upstairs also, there is maybe a lion or something. So you need to know where your steps are and safely. So the first thing you need to know is your initial condition. So this, you see like this, integer this step, okay? So if I tell you, hey, you are in the first step, like the staircase, so you know you have 9 to go, okay? If you only have 10 steps, okay? So the condition, it will be 10 steps, okay? So as long as you are less than 10 steps, you're good. You're not gonna fall either on top or in the bottom. And then you keep this right here. This is the direction. Think about it like orientation or direction. If it's this pin plus plus, means you're going upstairs step by step. You're increasing each time. You're increasing step by step to get to the top. And then if you have, for example, something like this, means you're going down. This is your counter, okay? You're decreasing from top step of your stairs to the, let's say you're on top, which is 10, okay? Then you go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So that's what it gives you. It's a counter. And this step minus minus or plus plus, basically think about it as something like this. I'm just gonna put under comment here. So think about this pin equal this pin plus 1. So it's an increment. So just think about it like this. You know, if this, but it's nice when you have a short text like that. So I'm gonna keep it like this just so you understand. And I keep going down. The void loop, this is actually that what I mentioned before. This is actually continue repeating indefinitely until someone unplug your Arduino or stopped it, disconnected somehow. So the void loop, this is a statement that you find in all Arduino programs, okay? You're always gonna have this statement here, and it starts with an open bracket and it ends with a closed bracket, just like that. You have to include this. And this one, basically, what it's telling, it's another for loop, you can see, but this time, instead of setting the pin as an output, no, it's telling this pin is high. And you see, this is the statement. This is how you write it. It's a case sensitive. High means 5 volts, send 5 volts to 3 volt, 5 volt to pin number 3. And then when the for loop increase to pin number 4, this is going to be 4, and it's going to be also high 5 volts. And then this is your delay timer. You can see. So timer, remember what timer we had, what value we had for timer. We had 100 milliseconds. Remember that variable we wrote in the first place, in the first line here. See timer, see 100 milliseconds. Well, this is our variable. It's a global variable. This is where it comes. See the delay, this delay function means once you turn the pin on using this function, this is the function that you use, digital write. You put the pin number. This is a variable, depends on the for loop. So for example, if it's pin number 3, means make pin number 3 high, means high read is 5 volts, and delay for 100 milliseconds. And then the next statement, digital write, but this time low. So here we turn it on, and here we send no voltage. So we turn it off, and that's how. Then we close this code. It starts from here. You see that from where is it? It starts from here, and it ends here. So, and this is what gonna give you. So for example, this for loop, this is the this pin, remember this pin minus minus, this is the reverse. When you get to the last LED, it's gonna start going backwards. So when you get to LED number 8, because you will never reach number 9, LED 9, because we have well, on top you will never reach number 9, but on the bottom you will never reach number 2. You will reach number 3, but you can't go beyond number 2. So here when we have this pin minus minus means decrement, and I'm gonna go to this again for you. It might be, just think about it. Think about the example I mentioned of walking the steps blindfolded, and think about you as well, because you're using your brain, like your microcontroller. You need to know which step you're gonna start first, okay, and how many steps you're gonna go. Am I going downstairs or upstairs? So this, it give you steps at a time, and it give you direction, orientation. Am I going upstairs or downstairs? Okay. I want you to practice on this. You have the code. You have the exercise. If you have Arduino, next, let me show you quickly on Arduino also. Okay. I have the. If you have Arduino, I want you to build this. If you don't, then just use your simulation. Should be good enough. Let me just show you quickly. Okay, I already programmed this Arduino Uno. I'm gonna provide voltage. I have a 9-volt battery right here. Okay, and I'm looking for the in right here, and then I'm gonna put this to the ground. I'm not sure if you can see it blinking. So this one is not, because it's not plugged in the right place. Oh. Okay, so next week we're gonna go and do the same exercise, but this time it will be with the, sorry, then it will be using an actual hardware, Arduino Uno, and just to show you an example what you can do with this. Just be patient with me until everything is set up, and you know, we don't have this kind of problem with microphone, and you know, you're gonna learn a lot of great things. So I want to share with you something I just finished, a project that I just finished. And this project, if you continue with the with learning Arduino, you can actually create your own company. You don't need to work for anyone. You can really start your own company. So here is a project that I just finished. This is a sensor. It's called the water sensor I made. Okay, this one is gonna go underground, like for farming. Okay, so for example, this sensor here, I put it right here, and I have connected some terminals to read the percentage of water. Okay, I built this device and I called it Znida Pro. Okay, so this device, this is a handheld analyzer. Inside there is Arduino. Okay, handheld analyzer, and I put the, see the for example, the LCD screen, that's an output we were talking about, and sensor that I showed you before, it's going to be an input because we're reading the water in the sensor. Okay, so if I click, for example, on reading this, you can see the percentage of water. Oh, is it upside down? No, you can see it. Okay, but anyway, it's this kind of project that you can do. And this project, I will share it with you. This is actually one of the curriculums of STEAM project that we will be doing. So once we finish building that car, I promise you, we will do other things. And for by this, I'll finish today, and we continue. And I really appreciate everyone. I want to introduce before I leave. Si Ahmed Taha. Can you hear me? Si Ahmed? Assalamu alaikum. Sir Ziwul? Okay, Sharafin. I can hear you, that's good. So I want you to introduce to each other. We have some students from Morocco, Ahmed Taha, and we have Marwan. I'm going to create actually a group for you in the future so you can collaborate and work together. And Ahmed, I'm sorry again, next time I will use more little bit of Arabic with English, but I think it's good for you to learn English at the same time, because English is the language of science. So, but I remember next time to speak a little bit in Arabic, inshallah. Okay, and next time you will introduce each other, and I want you to collaborate with each other. And in the future, once you learn Arduino, I might give you a gift if you help me doing some other work and things like that. Is that good? Ma salama, and I'll see you next week. And next week we will continue with this project, inshallah. Ma salama, everyone, and thank you for attending.